Elvis's career began in summer of 1954 with his very first recording of That's All Right Mama in Sun Studios, Memphis, under the direction of owner Sam Phillips. After releasing 5 more successful singles, Elvis's contract was sold to RCA Records, where he skyrocketed to fame. Elvis broke down barriers during a time of racial tension by being the white man who can sing like a black man, and bringing together people of all backgrounds through his music. Elvis was quickly popular because he was not only talented, but people saw him as good-natured through his extensive donations to many charities, and he was also seen as very attractive and a great performer, earning him the name of Elvis the Pelvis. Throughout his career, Elvis set records for the most top 100 hits, 149, with 114 of them in the top 40, 40 in the top 10, and 18 number 1 hits. His 10 consecutive number 1 hits also qualify him for the most consecutive number 1 songs by an artist. These include Shake, Rattle, and Roll, Love Me Tender, Suspicious Minds, and All Shook Up. Elvis was also popular in the movie industry, filming over 25 movies between the years of 1960 to 1967. Among these movies are Jailhouse Rock, Blue Hawaii, Girls, 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 and Viva Las Vegas. He was nominated for 11 awards, including 2 Grammys. Elvis's impact still remains relevant today, as many well-known artists list Elvis as their inspiration, including Jimmy Page, Eddie Money, Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Keith Richards, Buddy Holly, The Doors, Led Zeppelin, The Who, The Kinks, The Byrds, Bob Dylan, Cher, Madonna, and Justin Timberlake. Elvis's music still remains popular today, as it still receives radio play, and is featured in a number of different movies, TV shows, and commercials. Although there may be speculation about whether the King still remains alive today, there is no question that his legacy will live on as the best-selling solo artist in U.S. history.
Buddy Holly revolutionized the music industry and paved the way for almost all modern music. His skyrocket to fame began in 1956 when Holly was only 19 years old. He was the first to introduce the traditional rock and roll band setup, which included 2 guitars, a bass, and a drum set. He was also one of the first singer-songwriters of his time, writing with his band The Crickets or on his own. Some of his most famous songs include That'll Be the Day, Every Day, and Peggy Sue. As Holly was on the rise to an even greater fame, he tragically died in a plane crash in 1959. The privately chartered plane was set to fly to Minnesota for a Midwestern tour, but bad weather conditions resulted in the failure of the plane. Others who died in the crash include musicians Ritchie Valens and Big Bopper. Don McLean later wrote the song American Pie in honor of those musicians, and the event has since been referred to as the day the music died. Musicians such as Bob Dylan, Paul McCartney, and John Lennon all claim that their interest in music was sparked by and very much influenced by Buddy Holly. His legacy lives on in much of the music produced today.
Created in 1959, Barbara Millicent Roberts is among one of the most iconic faces in the world of merchandise and fashion. Better known as Barbie, the teenage fashion doll, Ruth Handler's creation has opened up more opportunities for girls to express themselves. Handler, a mother, watched her daughter play with infant dolls as well as with paper dolls. She noticed that there was a gap in the ages of the market of dolls, and decided to create a teenage doll that girls could have fun dressing up and putting in grown-up situations. The first Barbie doll came dressed in a black and white striped one-piece swimsuit with a ponytail and was available in either blonde or brunette. Barbie dolls were wildly popular with girls, perhaps due to the fact that it was one of the first toys to have a marketing strategy that was based quite extensively on TV commercials. Many other toys and companies have since then copied this strategy. Since her original debut in 1959, Barbie has undergone many makeovers and variations, from hairstyles like the bubble cut, swirl ponytail, and various 80s styles, as well as updated makeup looks. Barbie also has had many friends and family dolls added to her collection, none more important than her boyfriend, Ken Carson. The high-profile relationship suffered a temporary split back in 2004, but were soon reunited in 2006. Barbie has become famous for holding a large variety of different jobs and occupations, including a sign language teacher, paratrooper, pet stylist, president, and a TV chef. Barbie has remained an icon in pop culture because she serves as a role model for young girls, encouraging them to pursue their dreams while having fun along the way. This icon is depicted everywhere, from having a role in the Toy Story movies to having top designers like Kate Spade and Cynthia Rowley design for her. Though often criticized for promoting an unrealistic body image, Barbie means no harm, even undergoing a widening of her waist model in 2000 to prove his point. Regardless of controversy, Barbie still remains one of the top toys in the world, with a Barbie product being sold every 3 seconds.
The Kennedys are one of the most famous families in the world. From the confidence and tenacity of former President John F. Kennedy to the dignity and elegance of Jackie Kennedy Onassis, their fairly short but strong impact on the world has been powerful. The most famous and remembered event during the Kennedys' presidency was the decision to explore space travel. In his famous speech on May 25, 1961, he announced that the United States would send a man to the moon. Space exploration was still a very new topic, and President Kennedy was ready to take on the challenge. His desire to build strength as a nation was admired in the 60s and is still admired today. The former First Lady, referred to as Jackie O, was one of the most culturally influential women of her time. She was known very much for her sense of style and her willingness to embrace her own flaws. She became one of the first women to openly center her own self-expression on her unique features, such as her wide-set eyes. She was also a very talented writer. In 1961, she published the book The White House in order to help raise funds for the restoration of the White House. She also published children's books to raise funds and was able to increase American interests in the arts. Andy Warhol introduced the world to a new, bright, and bold form of art which he called pop art. Warhol's art was worshipped by many and despised by many. His artwork reflected simplicity in subject matter, but beauty in execution. Some of his most famous pieces include Campbell Soup Cans, Jackie 1964, Flowers, and multiple prints of Marilyn Monroe. His prints and paintings were unlike anything anyone had seen because the world had been used to traditional and realistic artwork. When Warhol first appeared on the scene, he was criticized and told that his art did not evoke enough emotion because his pieces were so simple. His intentions, however, were quite the opposite. His artwork appeared very simple so that the viewer could feel the emotion. Certain pieces, such as Disaster, depicting a car crash, and Electric Chair, were made to be statements so that viewers could face the reality that many people witness tragic events without emotion. In a roundabout way, Warhol was able to make his point. He has inspired artists all around the world with his bold statements and colorful bursts of energy. He took risks and wasn't afraid of possible criticisms.
Leslie Hornby, the world's first supermodel, was best known for her thin limbs, cropped hair, large eyes,
and even larger lashes. Perhaps she was even better known by the name of Twiggy, the official face of 1966. Twiggy was the most popular international supermodel at the mere age of 16, setting trends and appearing in ad campaigns, commercials, TV shows, and movies, as well as being a singer. Twiggy's universal fame helped to popularize some of the biggest trends of the 1960s, such as the shift dress, miniskirts, ribbed sweaters, men's accessories, and of course her luscious lashes. Twiggy's thin figure and short boyish hair represented youth and freedom, which was growing in importance during the 1960s. Twiggy undoubtedly remains a huge fashion icon today, with many designers and stylists imitating her iconic look that never seems to go out of style. Twiggy was even recruited to be a judge for several cycles of America's Next Top Model, giving advice and mentoring hopeful young women who want to pursue careers in an industry that she essentially helped to create. Twiggy continues to build her empire today by creating her own line of clothes, home furnishings, and appearing in television shows and movies.